our world. Serie, our world.
Hello.
Hi man, how's it going?
Yeah, not too bad yourself.
Yeah, all good. Just looking forward to some more football.
Well, I mean, just go straight into it. Last week's results. Um, we had Parma beating Monza 2-1. Genoa beating Empoli 2-1. Inter beating Cagliari 3-0. Lazio, Atalanta 1-1. Udinese, Torino 2-2. Napoli beating Venezia 1-0. Juve, Fiorentina 2-2. Milan, Roma 1-1. Como beating Lecce 2-0. And Verona beating Bologna 3-2. All those quite close. I mean, the results could have flipped and flopped either way in all those games, basically, near enough. Prediction-wise, I fell again. I got exactly the same as the AI, actually. I got 40% and one score. And then you got 70% and two scores. So there you go. I'm sure you're happy about that.
Yeah, it's another day above water, another day where AI is not as good as us. So I will take that.
Yeah, I mean, there's anything in particular you want to talk about in those games?
Yeah, so I didn't see the Juve game, Fior, right? Fiorentina. What did you watch it first of all as well?
I did watch it.
Find out. Yeah, what did you think? Because I only saw the scoreline. I haven't seen the highlights. So I'm very interested in how it all went down.
Yeah, well, I mean, 2-2 was always all right. I mean, there could have been more goals in there as well. And as I said, like, either team could have taken it in the end. But yeah, I mean, what can you say? Juve can't win a game, and they can't lose a game, it seems, either. So they seem to be stuck on this forever drawing every game. And I say, this is probably more than that time. I remember there was a season where Udinese were drawing all their games. But I mean, this is almost half. Well, it's basically halfway now, isn't it? And they seem to can't get out of this little I don't know what you'd call it, draw hole, whatever. But I mean, obviously there's the Super Cup coming up, and then the rest of the season. So if they can turn some of these draws into wins, they are going to be dangerous. And it's not like I know their team's been depleted recently, but still they've still got enough quality in their team to actually do anything. It's going to be one to watch for the Juve side. Fiorentina obviously doing very well this season as well. And I mean, I don't know. It's difficult to say whether one deserves more than the other, really.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking when I saw 2-2, and I thought, but really, who was the one that should have got it? But if you say they maybe equaled each other out there, is that how it went?
I guess so. I mean, I'm just going on bits that I remember and stuff. Obviously, I watched the various games, and then some bits come out, some go. I don't know, but yeah.
All blur into one.
Yeah, exactly. And talking to Super Cup anyway, that is going to be this week, which will delay some of the Week 19 games, but I will still mention them as well. But just to say, on the 2nd of Jan, we've got Inter Atalanta at 7 o'clock, and then the next day we've got Juve v Milan, also 7 o'clock. The winners of those will play on the final on the 6th. There's no time set for that at the moment from what I've seen, but I'm guessing that'll probably be around 7 o'clock as well, 8 o'clock or something. That's a guess. Could it be a Milan derby, or could it be an Atalanta Juve, or what? It's going to be one to see who's actually going to turn up and if they actually want to win this thing, or it's just going to be used as an opportunity to rest players and whatever else and try some things out. So got to see what each team's intentions are in that side of things.
I think it's still, for me anyway, especially at this stage of it, it's important. I know in Italy we've talked about it before, but the Cup's not really had much focus on it. It seems even in recent days the Cup's had kind of clubs just cannot be bothered unless they reach the final. But and we're saying like, we like watching it, but we just wish that there'd be focus on it from the league and revamp it. But what I'm trying to say is, they should all take it seriously. It's still, if you have a super Coppa to your name at the end of the season, it's a good thing to have. I think it's not something where you wouldn't look at it and be like, oh, that's just a piece of paper next to your name, a trophy made of paper. Like it's a good cup to have, I think. So they better all be trying hard.
Yeah, but that's why I say I think in every league, really, their cups should equal automatic qualification for whatever sort of thing, whether it's a conference, Europa, etc. Like there should be something in everything, to not even just the money side of things, but to have that trophy and say you've won something, but also to have that prize that it should be right. You've guaranteed your European place as well and things like that.
Yeah, and they should give, like we were saying before, I think I mentioned this to you before, should be something to favour the smaller teams a bit more, because what we've seen in recent years gets to the point where the big teams are in, and then it's always the same nut faces, and you want to see something different, right? But I think they really should look at it as a whole and try and work out ways to make it a better competition. But I hope everyone does take it seriously in the coming days.
And that's what I'm saying. The only thing I could see is they might see this as an opportunity to actually rest some players, because they're going to have that. They know they're going to have that game in hand anyway. Some of them have already got games in hand, in the sense of Inter and Milan. They've already got game in hand, and this is going to be an extra one now, which, I mean, is good in a way for their teams. I mean, for Milan, it's probably ideal now they've got a new manager, as we'll mention in a sec. So it's that thing. I mean, there's no excuses in the sense of, out of those four teams in the Super Cup, I think Milan have got the least excuse of trying to fob it off, because they need to be impressing their new manager, who, if no one's heard or is not sure, Fonseca got sacked, and then Conceição's come in, who was actually one of the names originally linked to the job, and for some reason didn't get the job. But now they've basically admitted they made a mistake. So those players are going to be fighting for their spot, you'd think, and he'd be in another way, he'd be wanting to try his tactics out, which may or may not differ to what's been going on recently with Milan.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very interested to see how it goes. It was a bit of a shock for me, because it seemed to be that, it seemed to be something that we'd all thought, oh, they're not going to do it now. It's been quite a while, isn't it? So I just didn't expect anything to happen.
Yeah. I mean, I was saying, I thought at the beginning of the season, I thought Conceição would have been probably one of the more ideal managers for them to get in the first place. So let's see if that works out for them, because there's no excuses now, is there, really? And I think the club is not run well at all. I saw yesterday that Cardinal, whatever his name is, complaining because he was upset that the fans weren't happy that he'd got another loan out. I mean, that makes no sense to me in the first place. Why would you want your team to be borrowing more money when you're already unhappy with how it's run and how it's going, and who they're hiring and who they're bringing in and stuff like that? It makes no sense why he thought taking another loan out would make the fans happy, unless he turns around and then buys a whole new team which ends up winning the Scudetto, the Champions League and everything. Then why would they be happy about that? I mean, it makes no sense to me, but who knows? This is how it is, isn't it? Let's go talk about the week 19 fixtures coming up. So after this, as we said, the Super Cup this week, then there's a break in the sense of the weekend Saturday, Sunday games in Serie, and then there's the final on the Monday. the fixtures we've got. So on the 4th, on Saturday, there's Venezia, Empoli at 2, Fiorentina, Napoli at 5, and Verona, Udinese at 7:45. And then on the Sunday, Monza, Cagliari at 11:30, Lecce, Genoa at 2, Torino, Parma at 5, and the Rome derby, Roma, Lazio at 7:45. And they're the games that are actually being played in week 19. While due to the Super Cup, Como v Milan is at 5:30 on the 14th. Atalanta v Juve, which is still a possibility of a final anyway, but Atalanta Juve in the league at 7:45 is also on the 14th of January. And then on the 15th of January, to round up the week 19, Inter are playing Bologna at 7:45. So we've put our predictions in as well. We've got the AI predictions, so I'll put all that stuff up together. For the week 19, is there any games you want to mention in particular?
Yeah, I'm reading the Juve Atalanta. Atalanta Juve, right?
Yeah.
That one and the Rome derby. I think Rome derby for me most likely going to be a Lazio win. However, for Atalanta Juve, I'm actually going with Juve if anyone saw my predictions. So quite interested to see if I'm wrong about that. But
you're gonna have a couple of weeks
two of the games. Yeah. You said we've got a couple of weeks to wait, right?
For that game, yeah.
Yeah.
So hopefully the Rome derby will satisfy you for now.
I mean, I'm a bit mad because I didn't think about it until a couple of days ago, but I really wanted to see it. I wanted to plan and sort of get out there, but I'll still have a look. If I can get hold of a ticket, then I'm for sure going to try and get out there, but I think it's a bit late now. Unfortunately, we'll have to wait for quite a while for the next one.
Well, and so you never know if it could. I think if I'm remembering rightly, there is a possibility that it could happen in the Coppa as well, but they are both playing the Milan teams, so there's also the opportunity of there being a Milan derby, or obviously half and half. So there's no guarantees, but there is still a slight chance of it happening. Then I mean, so that's up to date with everything. I mean, any news stories or anything in particular that you've got on your mind?
It's been pretty quiet, actually. I haven't seen much other than obviously the S.A.W hire. So from my side, no, all good.
Yeah, I mean, most of the stuff really is just, well, what can you say, transfer rumours, and it's there's nothing certain. And then from a Milan point of view, I think all their strategies are going to change now. Anyone who may have been leaving may not be leaving now, and vice versa. Who knows? It's going to be down to obviously how much say Conceição has there, and what he's looking for, and what he wants to build on that. I saw there was a story about Mourinho saying he'd come back to Serie and stuff like that. Again, just words, isn't it? At the moment, there's nothing behind that. And then I mean, I
would like to see that, by the way.
Mourinho back. Is there any particular clubs you'd like to see him at?
Wow, that's a very good question. I think, I mean, it's tough. With Roma, he'd been there, done that. Who's struggling? Who needs him? That's the question.
Well, I mean, it depends how you look at it, because I know he probably would say, "Oh yeah, I would never go there." But I mean, if Juve got rid of Motta, or
I was thinking,
would he go there? Even though
I was thinking about them, but just because Motta's, I think they view him as a longer term option, so I think they're gonna.
I think they'll hold on. Yeah. I'm just saying if it came down to, because I'm not looking at it as in right now, because I can't see Mourinho's going to leave in Jan to go somewhere else at the moment, as far as I'm aware. So I'm looking more end of season, and I mean, if Motta can't get out of this, keep drawing, and then even if those draws start turning to losses, I can't see them then keeping him on a bit longer if it carries on like that. I mean, it's a difficult one. I mean, I think the team that he might have liked to have joined or go to, I reckon would probably be Napoli. Just because of the background, the way the fans are and stuff like that, and he knows if he did something with them, then it'll be historical, won't it, for him? So
that's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, and I mean, I guess we'll see what happens with Conte at the end of the season.
Oh no, exactly, and that's the thing. If Conte wins the league or whatever, then there's no way he's going. Well, you think he wouldn't anyway. And then I can't, again, for the similar reasons to the Juve and probably Milan, is that I couldn't see him going to Lazio because of his Rome ties. But as I said, you never know with him and money and how it all talks and all that stuff, isn't it?
I think his loyalty is not strong when it comes to Roma. It was fairly short-lived, and as you say, that club, it's all the ownership downwards. It's all about money, isn't it? It's all business. So I think he probably wouldn't give a damn, to be honest. But I was thinking just that it would be good to see him in Serie A again, because when, after Inter, after all the successes there, and okay, he did a bit at Real too, but it seems that people hate him when he's at the club. Eventually, they start hating him, and he leaves sort of on a bitter note. He hasn't obviously achieved what he did at Inter since, but when you look on hindsight, like for example at Man U, he actually did pretty good. He did all right compared to the managers that have come after him. Yeah. And if you look at Roma, he did okay too. I guess is okay good enough when we've seen the best from him before. So there's that. But I think he is getting judged harshly. But I guess people maybe do expect big trophies for him, and he hasn't done that since a very long time. But I think he's still a good manager and definitely worth a consideration.
Well,
even in Serie A.
I think in the way the Serie A teams are, I think the only likely ones are Napoli and Atalanta. Yeah, Gasperini leaves.
I would honestly, I'd love to see him at Napoli. I would love that. And would they take it? Would the fans take him at Atalanta with the ownership, knowing how they're probably one of the best? The ownership's one of the best, and they don't take none of this crap, do they? And unfortunately, a lot of it comes with mood.
I mean, if Gasperini left and he comes, it would be basically on name, because I can't see him playing that type of football.
No.
The only other team that I would say would be considered, and more because of the financial and the kind of circus around the team, is Como if they stay up.
Yeah. And then he's definitely ready for that Portugal job after that, I think. Yeah. Or potentially the Saudi one. But I agree with that fully. So I guess Napoli, Como.
Because the rest of them don't really have I would say the funds or whatever he'd be looking for type of play. I mean, that's the impression I get. I'd like him to prove that wrong and actually try something else. So I think we've talked more about Mourinho than anything else right now. So I mean, I have no other things to say. I don't want to comment really on all the rumours and stuff, because we could just be here all day talking about nonsense, really. Looking forward to the Super Cup and the weekend games, and then let's go from there, and we'll catch up next week as well.
Nice one. Good talking.
All right. See you later, man.
Yeah. Right.